Okay, so for my activity, I went to an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting and I went by myself. Um, I don't know. I didn't really have anybody to go with. And so I went up to Orem and they actually have a ton of meetings like all around Utah County, which is really interesting. I didn't know that before. And they have some like really early in the morning, some at lunchtime, and some in the evenings. Um, just to get a variety of people. And so, kind of before the activity, I didn't really know what to expect, honestly, because like I've never really had to deal with that kind of an addiction before. And um, it's not something I really know about besides watching the movies. Um, like in Confessions of a Shopaholic, she's like, "Hi, this is my name. I'm a shopaholic," whatever. So I thought it was gonna be like that, but I didn't know what else went on in the meeting. And so I showed up and I just kind of sat in the back corner and they had like a focused topic of the day and it was gratitude. And it was really interesting. Just like as people would go around and like share about their experiences and like what they were dealing with trying to recover from this alcoholism. And um, it was just really interesting to see everyone's different stories and how it had impacted their lives. Some of these people had been dealing with alcoholism for honestly decades, and they were still trying to get all cleaned up and sober, and like trying to be able to hold a job was really hard, and like messed up family situations. And I think one thing it really made me like me personally grateful for is that like I have an amazing family. I don't have that around the house, and I'm really lucky that like I don't have that constant temptation because of like my family members. Like someone had said they like got into drugs and alcohol when they were way young because all their family was in it and it had just messed up their life and now they're trying to clean up, but their family isn't being supportive and all sorts of stuff. So it was eye-opening to see how other people had struggled with this. Um, and it did kind of challenge some core beliefs a little bit um, because I don't know. I feel like a lot of this stuff you can just avoid, but I guess like a lot of the people had gotten in it because of someone else and suddenly they were just addicted and they were struggling with it all of a sudden. And so that kind of opened my eyes a little bit more. And it did reinforce some of my beliefs because, okay, some of those people were a little bit creepy, not gonna lie. Um, and it was a really interesting atmosphere. I definitely did not fit in whatsoever, but it was okay. Like I'm pretty okay with that. Um, I feel like the most interesting part, there were a lot of really interesting things, but I thought it was interesting. I didn't know that much about Alcoholics Anonymous, but apparently they have a book with like 12 steps. And it's like a pretty thick book. It's probably like that thick. Um, and they just like work through this book and once you've completed one step, then you move on to the next one and the next one and stuff like that. And it really is like quite a process. And I think, some people they get stuck in one of the steps or whatever. And at least that's what it sounded like to me. I don't know. I only went to one meeting, so I'm not like a professional on this. Um, but I think the important thing that I recognized was that they all kind of clung to a superior power. And most people called it God, honestly. I did hear one person say Heavenly Father, which was really interesting. Um, but it was cool. They were talking about gratitude because it's Valentine's Day and just being grateful for like God's love and God's help and um just like the support group, honestly, the support that was there at the meeting. Um and I think this was a really good experience for me because right now in Utah, I mean, I don't think I'll really have that much interaction with like students whose parents struggle with alcoholism. I mean, possibly, but not really. And so when I move out of state, it's good to know like what they're going through and why, and just be aware of like how that impacts them, especially with those students who might just be surrounded by it and might think that there is like no other lifestyle. I think it's really important as future educators that we set good examples for our kids and that we do provide like a classroom that is a safe environment for them, because some people might come to school just for that, honestly. And so I think in future relationships with students, I will be a lot more understanding, a lot more open and non-judgmental about things, because there's so much more than meets the eye. Like I mean, we've talked about a single story already. And so I think, this was a good experience. And I hope to have some more experiences like this, honestly. I really hope to push myself out of my comfort zone this semester and like look around at other cultures and notice, what they're going through, or like other people in other social classes, um, and hopefully feel better prepared for teaching in the classroom. But yeah, that's my experience.